The GridLine command in gCADPlus is used to draw grids of this type. I've made the lines relatively heavy here just to show that if we pick tools and come down toward the bottom, here's the insert grid lines tool. I can put in, say, 10 horizontal lines. Let's halve that and we'll put in 5, and I'll keep the X spacing at 1 meter, and I'll make my text height, say 300, just to vary a few things, and I'll put a circle around the label. Then I'll go OK. We should draw a different size grid than the one we had before. And you see now we have, let's just repeat that, repeat grid line with 5 vertical lines, 5 horizontal lines, and the label has been put in. So any sort of grid can be drawn using that GridLine command. Let's swing to a drawing where we see it in application, and here's a demo for irrigation design. If I measure from, say, the intersection of one of these GridLine points to the intersection of another where a sprinkler has been applied, you look down in the command area, that's a distance of 10 meters. So this is a 10 meter grid with a sprinkler. That's a full circle sprinkler at that point and there. So it becomes very easy to apply sprinklers to a grid such as this to cover the entire area accurately. So you find the GridLine command, I think, quite useful. Don't forget that if you right click on the desktop and go to drafting settings, you can have an electronic grid, one that differs from the GridLine grid because there are no, although you can snap to them, it's an invisible grid and not part of the drawing. So if I made my grid step here 10,000 and 10,000 here and applied it, we'd actually have a grid, and I'll turn the grid on, we'd have a grid that matches that. I might need to choose background color black in order for us to see it. You might just be able to pick up, here's a major grid point and minor grid points, so I can actually draw or insert a block from one major grid point to another. If I put snap on, click down in there, snap is now on. Can you see so I can snap to one grid point and to another and to another grid point like so. And that should give us a 10 meter grid. It's a little trickier than using the GridLine tool, but then you take snap off again and just select that line, that faint line that I drew, and let's make it a bright colour so that we can see it. It's in fact a 10 meter line matching the line of the GridLine. So the two can be worked together, but I think you find the GridLine command works very easily.